In the night I hear him talk, the cold story ever told. Somewhere far along this road he lost his soul to a woman so heartless. How could you be so heartless? Oh.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good luck to you for listening to us talk about movies for 30 minutes or less. You're listening to 808 and Hot Takes, the show with hot new movies and even hotter takes. I'm Palmer Wells.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Evan Parrish.
And today, we will be reviewing the newest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Let's do it, I'm excited.
Now, this is our first episode, and we're really looking forward to sharing our thoughts. And, so I guess we should just get right into it. Anyone have any opening remarks?
I was excited for it going in, because I stand by my belief that Marvel can't make a bad movie. Any Marvel movie isn't a bad movie, it's just not as good as others they've made. So
it's not as good as Endgame.
Yeah, so going into it, I knew even if it wasn't going to be the greatest movie, it would still be a good movie on its own. And I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed it. More than I think I was expecting.
Okay.
Yeah, about that, I wanted to make a distinction between there's a good movie and there's an enjoyable movie. They're not necessarily the same. A good movie can be enjoyable. A good movie can also be like a very serious movie, like Schindler's List. I haven't seen, but is regarded as a good movie even if it's not enjoyable. Sad movies are good movies.
Right.
Painful movies are good movies.
Yeah.
At the same time, enjoyable movies can be really fun movies. They can be bad movies that are fun.
Yes.
And they're enjoyable. A good movie and a good enjoyable movie can be the same movie, but they're also often separate.
Right.
And so with a lot of these movies, I enjoy them. They're fun to watch. There's action. There's comedy. But I wouldn't be putting it on a list of like top 10 movies necessarily of movies I think are cinematic gold. But I'm not going to say it's a bad movie.
And I should clarify, neither would I.
Yeah.
I think...
But I think just to clear up confusion with viewers who might think we mean, I enjoy this movie, I had a lot of fun with it, it's one of the best movies ever. It's like a good
If it's one of the best movies ever, you'll hear me repeat that a lot. But if I enjoy it, it's a good movie. If it's an enjoyable movie for me to watch, I consider it a good movie, regardless of how it is technically.
I'm not going to complain about that.
So
I'm not going to argue about that.
That's my 2 cents.
Shang-Chi is interesting. I mean, first of all, I've been mispronouncing it. I didn't realize it was Shang-Chi instead of Shang-Chi.
We didn't.
Yeah.
That's our bad. But.
And it first got introduced to me in that phase after Endgame where we knew the MCU was kind of making this transition.
Mm-hmm.
And they announced the Eternals and all those other Thor, Love and Thunder, Guardians 3, Spider-Man. And obviously, I think with most of us, we weren't familiar with the comics, especially something this deep of a cut.
Yeah, I know.
I think a lot of people who read it would recognize this. I think even the name probably rung a bell when I first heard of it. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds maybe familiar. I never read anything though, so.
Yeah.
But
and of course we knew about the 10 rings from Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I went in blind. I mean, I saw a couple trailers.
Yeah, me too.
And my first impressions. Maybe we'll start with first impressions when we sat down in the theater.
Yeah, sure. I was also going in blind. I think the only real trailer I saw for it was in theaters when we went to go see Black Widow.
Yeah.
So I don't remember any trailers really.
Right.
I think I watched a few here and there on YouTube or stuff that popped up as ads, but I didn't go deep looking into it, watching every single spot.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I never really done that for any of the movies. I think I just take it as it comes.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, with any Marvel movie, I'm going to go see it as soon as I can, obviously.
So
this
the
was
aficionado of the building.
This was this was no exception. But personal story. We had a bit of trouble sitting down.
We
didn't we?
did.
We did.
That was, I think, the most stressful theater experience I've ever had.
Because we never had to worry about that, especially with reserved seating. We just go in and we're like, oh, there are seats. We sit down.
And it's funny because we're walking to the theater and we're talking about how reserved seating.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time we didn't have reserved seating?
A while
It's been
ago.
a while.
Years.
And I've seen this happen before, but never
You've
to me.
Seen it
Yeah.
happen.
Never
but
thought it
never
would
happened
happen
to us. And what happened
Yeah.
was, we weren't late, but we got in while the trailers.
We were
playing.
cutting it closer than I would like.
We were cutting it a little close because usually we like to be sitting down before it goes dark. But we get in there, we turn the corner, and it's fullest theater I've seen since before COVID.
I got it. I loved that. Like,
Yeah.
I think I was very happy not only turning the corner and seeing at least 100 people in that theater,
Yeah, at least.
but then when the Marvel logo popped up and I realized I'm sitting in a dark room with 100 other people,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I got very excited.
Yeah, very exciting. And I had the tickets on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so people they took their seats. It was dark, and we go up to row E, which is our row,
Mm-hmm.
and it's looking pretty full.
It's very full.
It's looking pretty full.
Doesn't look like there's space for 3 people.
Right.
There wasn't.
And Evan's like, "Are you sure we're row E?" And I pull out my phone. Sure enough, we are row E.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "No, we are." So we start walking down the aisle,
Yeah.
and it becomes more clear to us that there's not even 3 empty seats together. I mean, and so with social distancing and everything, there's no way we're supposed to sit there.
Yeah.
So I think we're all like, what do we do? This has never happened to
Because
us.
we look at the seats and the girls are sitting there, right?
There's 3 girls sitting there.
Did they even look at us?
I don't even think they
I
acknowledged
think they were
us.
trying to ignore us.
Right.
Because they
Block eye contact.
knew they weren't supposed to be there.
Block the eye contact.
And I'm thinking in my head, they're sitting in our seats. But I'm kind of panicking. I'm like, okay, what do we do? So we leave the aisle, and the back row is like empty.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, do we just sit in the back
We're
row?
gonna do what they did.
Yeah, we kind
Yeah,
of
well, we kind of have to.
we kind of just gave up, and we went to the back row. And just as we sit down, we see this big crew pulling up,
20 plus people taking up the whole
Yeah.
row.
and we're like, we
Yeah,
know
but
what's
we're not
happen.
gonna do what they did.
We're not gonna do what
obviously.
they did.
We're gonna be respectful.
Yeah. So we
And-
get up and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
let's talk to the theater man. And I approached him and like, hey, we're people sitting in our seats. What do we do? And he's like, well, hey, let's go talk to them. He was great.
Yeah.
So he left us there and went up to the aisle and talked to them. And the girls got up and left. Like, what are the girls thinking? Like
Yeah,
they see us come to
yeah,
them. They see us walking around the theater. They see us talking to the guy. And they're just like, oh, do.
Yeah.
So
no,
girls, if you're listening,
I don't think
we're not happy.
No, because I'm not very confrontational when it comes to stuff like that. If I was
don't
by
think
myself,
none of us are.
No,
yeah, I probably
which
would
is
just
why we went to
find
the
something
back.
to by
you
myself.
have
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
some
too.
of the most unconfrontational
Yeah.
people ever.
And I feel like if we did ask them, they probably would have left.
Yes.
If we talked to them ourselves, but
I've seen it go 2 ways. I've seen
yeah.
them get up and leave, and I've seen people fight it.
yeah.
And
Well, yeah.
I didn't want either of those, given how close we were cutting it to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like we were in the wrong doing that because we did
No.
pay for those seats.
Yeah.
And they didn't. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Judging by the fact that they just left the theater after that, I feel like they didn't pay for the movie
went-
in general.
went
No,
down
they
the
went
front.
down to the
Oh,
lower
they did.
seats. Yeah.
My bad.
Mhm.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. But
But it was
they're
funny.
still if they didn't have reserved seats and they likely didn't pay for it. And I don't have a problem with people just sitting in a movie and not paying for it. I don't have the biggest issue with that.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a lot of money anyway.
Yeah.
So what's like
Especially
$60 off?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with them finding seats. It's just obstructing other people's views that they specifically
paying
paid for.
experience.
Yeah, paid experience. If it was
Yeah.
just like first come first serve, then okay, our bad for coming late.
Right.
But we did reserve those seats, so.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was fine.
Yeah.
After I just felt a little weird walking around in front of all the people with
Yeah.
my
We
smoothie
did
in my
a
hand.
whole lap.
Yeah.
Popcorn and one. Yeah, it was certainly the 3 most non-confrontational people. We just went right to the back.
Yeah.
Then we got booted, so we're like, okay, let's talk to the guy, and then he got him right out of there, and then we took our seats.
Yeah. Good guy.
Just as the last trailer was starting.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if the girls would acknowledge us or like say sorry or something.
Yeah, no, they
but
just
they just
walked by.
They just walked right
Probably
by.
were a little embarrassed. I would be too if we tried to do
Yeah.
that and we were kicked out. I would be a little
I would
embarrassed.
be embarrassed too.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, we got our
Yeah.
seats. The last trailer played. I forget even what it was.
Eternals.
Mhm.
Eternals.
There's something else before it, and then it was the Eternals
The
trailer.
King's Man.
The King's
played.
Man was playing in the background. I didn't recognize it first because it was Rasputin.
Right.
And I was like, what's Rasputin doing in this movie? Is it
Yeah.
a movie about Russia? Is it a movie, like a
Yeah.
historical movie? Oh, it looks like a comedy. Looks like an action.
The King's Man.
That-
And then they started talking about The King's Man. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a funny movie. That movie's been delayed for like 6 years. It's horrible. But then, yeah, so we take our seats, and then the Marvel Studios like logo and song comes on, and I will always be unapologetically a Marvel fanboy because I got so giddy
right?
when that came up. I always
Right?
got so
I think you
giddy.
guys are more into it than I am because I was like, okay, this is nice. But
No,
I wasn't.
the
I wasn't
Marvel
jumping in my
text,
seat.
I'm-
I think it's
Yeah.
because when I was sitting in Infinity War Endgame, I was more excited about that because that was pretty big events, pretty exciting, and there's the whole culture around it and everything. But I think it's because it's been too long.
Yeah.
Since that sort of point, I sort of grew out of it, and I haven't been as excited since. I haven't been keeping up with the shows as much. I haven't been, but that doesn't mean I won't enjoy it.
Mhm.
I still thought, oh yeah, this is cool. This is gonna be a fun movie. No matter what happens, it's always a fun experience.
The Marvel intro will never cease to hype me up.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, second to the Avengers theme, that Marvel Studios theme just gets you right into it.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see all the images change, within the letters.
Yeah.
Like I saw
over
Black
time.
Widow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I noticed
I
Black
was
Widow.
trying to look for something recent.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. And then the movie began
Yes.
where with Tony Leung in ancient times
Yes.
doing things.
And I appreciated the use of Mandarin. I think it was Mandarin that they're speaking throughout most of the entire movie.
Mhm.
And I thought it was good. They didn't just have them speak English the whole time for American audiences.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was nice that they're making a movie about with Chinese actors about I'm assuming is Chinese folklore put into Marvel Comics about this Chinese character.
Right.
And that they're using this Chinese language to tell the story. And I appreciate that they did that.
Yeah, I mean it had to be the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That was-
They didn't speak English
And
until,
Not until San Francisco.
That was another big thing is like I had heard first this movie was getting mixed reviews, but then other people were saying, oh, this is very different or all that stuff. And the opening I think was quite different. Like when was the last time we went a solid 10 minutes, like the first 10 minutes of a Marvel movie without seeing the main character?
That too.
The setting up the antagonist,
Right.
yeah, instead of
Yeah.
like usually it's like
Yeah.
a 3 minute
Yeah,
something.
this was a full
But this
like
went the whole
Yeah, no,
backstory.
normally what we were okay, well, we should probably say as of now that we're going to talk about spoilers
Right, yes.
Yes.
in the movie.
There
we probably
will be-
already went into. I mean, we didn't.
there will
we
be
won't talk
heavy
about the beginning,
spoilers
but-
going forwards.
Yes.
We have to talk about the entire movie.
We
So
do, and
that's
we will.
yeah, we will be spoiling it if you didn't see it and you don't want to know about it, don't keep listening.
So go watch it and then come on right back.
yeah, and if you don't care if we spoil it, then whatever.
Yeah, if you don't care, just
It's up to
continue.
you.
Get our thoughts if you want them.
And we saw the 10 rings in action right away,
Yes.
which was really cool. And I'd love to see.
It was the actual 10 rings. It wasn't just
Yeah.
what we saw in Iron Man 3 was just
Yeah.
like
The Mandarin.
just very default thugs and people with guns.
Yeah. And it was really cool to see Tony Leung right away. I hope I'm saying his last name
It might be
correctly.
Lung.
Lung, just Lung?
I feel like it could be.
I hope so.
Let's
But
double check.
yeah, my brother's a really big fan of him, and I've seen a few of his movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking during the movie. This guy's been in Wong Kar-wai's movies,
right.
specifically In the Mood for Love.
In the Mood
probably
for
his
Love.
most popular.
I'm pretty sure
movie.
he's in Chungking Express.
He
too.
is. He's in like 2046 or
2046. That's
Yeah.
right.
And a bunch of other ones.
I just watched him in Infernal Affairs, which was really good.
Infernal or Internal?
Infernal
interesting.
Affairs. So we saw him in action right away with
Yeah.
the 10 rings, and that was really good stuff. Certainly seeing him in
I think
action
it was really different.
exciting.
Action movie because the only other time I think I've seen him is in the Mood for Love, which is a really like I know you've been meaning to see it,
Mhm.
but you haven't seen it.
Right, I need
But
to
it's a
see
very deep like love story, and it's painful in a way. It's very well acted, very well everything. I liked it a lot, and he was very solemn and serious in that movie.
Yeah.
And seeing him much older, maybe 30 years, so no, 20 years older.
20 years,
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But 20 years older, jumping around, punching things, shooting rings everywhere
Yeah.
with VFX and everything is very different.
Yeah, it was good to see more of him, and I believe I read it somewhere. It's his first like American film.
Really?
It's his first American, I believe. I read it somewhere. It's his first
Possible,
film,
yeah.
not in Hong Kong, Chinese cinema. So it's cool that they got him. It felt to me like the writers or producers or whatever, when they were writing the movie and setting it up, I can only imagine they're like, oh, we need him for this role, because he obviously fit the bill perfectly.
Yeah, he's a big actor.
Big name, good actor. So it was good to see him right away. Any other comments on the first few minutes of it?
I think the one
really.
fight in the beginning with him and the mother, I don't remember her name.
Yes,
But that was a little different than what we'd see.
I don't know her name either. Yeah, that was
the one
excellent.
yeah. There's a lot of different camera angles, a lot of tilted ones. There's some in the sky. The camera was moving all
In
over
the
the
sky
place.
was good.
You could tell it's still a little bit. You could tell the VFX when they were going around.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were in a real forest. They might have been.
Yeah, I feel like probably not. But those slow motion shots
Yeah, these were nice.
did so much. Like the action, yes, but it did so much for like the story and their relationship.
Yeah, because I didn't think they were gonna be like the main couple
Me neither.
in the movie. I was like, oh,
As the fight progressed,
you could tell it was
I could
romantic.
begin to tell, yeah.
And I was worried that they were going to rely too heavily on that slow motion stuff, but I thought it was done just
yeah,
enough.
you didn't get tired of it while watching the movie because it's used a lot more in other scenes too.
Yeah, and it's so unique because the only other times we've seen that in the MCU, it's been for dramatic effect or for the action scene.
Right.
But now it's starting to build a relationship. It's trying to build a romantic relationship specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was quite striking, even if it was just in a big blue screen, like you kind of gotta assume it is. But maybe it was not. And the score was good there because they kind of incorporated those Chinese elements.
No, the thing about the score, if you watch the trailer, you remember the score, remember the music in the trailer being very upbeat. Like the first song that plays when he wakes up, when Sean or Shang-Chi wakes up
Right.
In the morning, and I saw you nodding your head to it.
It's like a hip hop kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's very hip hop influenced.
Very modern and American.
And that was the music that was in the trailer too. It was a mix of more orchestral stuff with the more hip hop, rap, trap beats.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like it was like in Black Panther where they used those elements of music to create a lot more
for the
modern
culture.
Culture, but also it's just the energy of it. It's very high energy, very modern.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. And I wish they used it more in this movie.
Me too, because they use it a lot in Black Panther.
They use it a lot, and it works really
And it worked
well.
perfectly.
Especially
Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah.
I
noticed some of the score in this movie, but I don't remember as much as those songs in the beginning and in the post-credit scene.
In the post-credit scene.
Where those are the only two times they used that kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it a lot, and I wish it was incorporated a bit more into the score because I thought with how it was these modern characters being put back into this ancient fantasy world,
Right.
they could have mixed it in a bit more to show that that mix of culture shock going on.
Yeah.
But that's just me. It was fine otherwise.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I like the score. I don't think much of most Marvel scores. Some will always stand out. Portals,
sure.
Endgame will always
Right.
stand
Porch and
Um,
Infinity War, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed the score. Certain points where we kind of lost the classical Chinese and went just more into strings started to remind me of Lost But One, which is a great score from the movie Rush by Ron Howard.
I'm not seeing.
Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good score. But yeah, as much as I enjoyed the opening with like the mom and the dad, when we got introduced to Sean or Shang-Chi,
Mm-hmm.
that was, I think, the part where I was really starting to get into the story because the music was energetic.
It's a good introduction.
Seeing him, but also I am a sucker for some good establishing shots, and there were some nice new shots of San Francisco.
Yeah, speaking of San Francisco.
Was it San Francisco?
That was San Francisco.
Okay.
And I think we've only seen it in the Ant-Man movie, San Francisco.
I think so.
I don't remember any set.
I was thinking that we saw it a lot more. Like when I was watching, I'm like, oh, we're back in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But now that you mention it, I don't think we're there very often.
I'm pretty sure it's only the Ant-Man movies that show San Francisco much. So it was cool to jump right into there. And the lead actor, whose name has escaped me.
Simu.
Yeah, Simu Liu. I
Um,
think that's how you pronounce it.
I'm not sure. We're sorry.
Liu or Liu.
yeah.
Um,
But
I like him a lot.
We get
He's really good in this movie. He's
Even-
very charismatic. He's very fun. He's nice.
Seeing him in all the promotional materials, I'm like, this guy, I like him. He's gonna be
a good, really good choice.
Yeah.
For casting.
Yeah, and it jumped right into it, and we saw a lot of establishing shots of San Francisco.
There were some very nice
Silicon
ones.
Valley, the winding road there.
Yeah, that shot of Alcatraz panning up.
Alcatraz was like the
never
first-
seen that
yeah.
shot before, and as soon as I saw that,
Yeah.
it was very nice.
Yeah, it was certainly good with establishing the setting. And then we get to Aquafina's introduction at the valet.
Right.
Yep.
That's where we went from there, right?
I don't think I've seen her in a lot of movies. I know she's been in some movies, but
I haven't seen her much. I think she's in Crazy Rich Asians.
she is. I haven't seen the movie.
She's
but
in Raya and the Last Dragon, that animated
Okay.
and
Disney
she's in
movie.
The Farewell, which apparently is very
Which
good.
apparently is very good.
She's in Ocean's 8.
Oh, is she?
She is.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
She's
Cool.
one of. I'm assuming one of the 8. I've seen it, but I don't remember it very well. But I think she is one of the 8 of Ocean's 8.
I like
And-
that.
yeah,
I
she
like
was
that
good.
jump cut where we see him working out. We're like, oh, all right, he's doing some good
Yeah.
stuff, and then he's just a valet.
And it's just a
I thought
valet.
that was
Oh,
fun.
and you get that nice low angle of the BMW pulling
Right.
up, and you think it's
Yeah.
going to be him stepping out, but it's just some other guy, and then he throws in the keys.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get, the typical kind of Marvel comedy.
Yeah.
We have the one character who's kind of witty, kind of the basic
Yeah, they're sort of
stuff.
bouncing off each other. It was fine.
It's
It's
fine.
no harm.
I don't
Yeah.
think much of Marvel movies, nor do I really critically review them.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is
They're
about
just kind
as
of eye
deep
candy.
as I'll go.
They're just kind of, oh yeah.
Kind of low risk, kind of one liners, and
Yeah, there's a few things that made me chuckle a little bit.
comedic timing, which was
But
good.
I know the audience around us, they were laughing quite a lot through the movie.
The audience was very
It made
engaged,
but-
me chuckle.
I'm not going to put
I-
fault them to it.
I can turn my brain off. So
Yeah.
while it's happening,
Yeah.
I can acknowledge that
Yeah.
she's there for comedic relief, but
It's funny.
I'm still entertained. I'm still laughing along the way.
And the editors helped with the comedic timing too, because like jumping through the montage of them doing karaoke.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was
funny.
good.
Song to
I
song,
like
like they were
that.
doing Old Town
Yeah,
Old Town
Yeah,
Road
Old Town
yeah.
Road.
for a little bit there. Yeah, that was good, and I really liked. I wish we got more of it. We might get more in the future, but Katie, her name,
Yes.
her family dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was
It was
really
nice.
interesting, and that really grounded the film right away. I thought.
Yeah, and that was one of the only scenes in the movie that did something like that.
Right, probably the only one, and
Yeah.
and of course I think most of us are thinking, okay, so are they a couple? Like we didn't really know what was going on.
I was worried they were going to force them together.
Me too.
I was like, oh, please don't make them kiss in the end. Please don't.
Me too.
And I think they're staying away from it because there's a little touchy, a little affectionate, but I think it's very platonic.
Very
the way
platonic.
they're holding each other, hugging, and
Effectively
everything.
platonic, yeah.
Even if they're touching hands and everything, it's very like I do that with some friends. I'm sure you guys do sometimes. It's very normal thing to do.
Like during the karaoke scene, he was sleeping on her shoulder.
Yeah, and
like,
that's normal.
I wasn't sure at first, but
But
then
no, it's
obviously
a they're very close friends. They know each other for what 10 years or whatever in the
since
movie.
high school, yeah.
So that's completely understandable for them to do. And I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad they stayed away from that in the end because I was worried they'd shoehorn it in like, oh yeah, the main character needs to have a romantic interest.
Right.
Yeah.
And they really
yeah.
took their time establishing their relationship.
Yeah,
Katie and
especially when they were
Sean's,
talking in that bar or
in
whatever.
the bar about high school and everything.
Yeah,
Hotel
how they met.
California.
Yeah, that was funny.
Which is funny.
It's a nice recurring joke.
Yeah, so since seeing that family dynamic really grounded the film, I really liked that. I wish we got more of it. Maybe we will in future films.
Yeah, because you only see that in a few other movies, like with Paul Rudd and his daughter and
Rudd and his
Ant-Man,
daughter.
that sort of thing, or
Like just
think.
those realistic raw family moments that
Yeah, just very-
don't revolve around
Yeah, very
saving
normal.
the world or anything. And then that took us right to the bus scene.
That's what I want to get to. That's like
the
that's
first action
I think
set piece.
it has been a while because we had to walk back from the theater to get here to do this.
Yeah.
So I will undoubtedly forget things, but
Yeah.
the bus scene and the action scene is the main thing I want to talk about.
Yeah,
if
what do you
if
think?
not the
Yeah.
only thing.
Okay, go ahead.
My goodness, was that fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. I really liked it. Yeah, for the most part, it looked like he was doing it all his own, which is always cool to see. and I was just looking him up on Google just now, and
Yeah.
he is listed as he does stunts. He's a stunt performer on Google.
I don't know much of his work other than Kim's Convenience.
Kim's Convenience is all I know.
He's
him
a
for,
comedy actor.
but he is it says he's also stunts.
He did some impressive moves.
And
He's
the
got the
bus,
physique for it.
Yeah, no, I think he trained a lot for this movie too.
Sure, yeah.
And he did a good job.
the fighting was different from what we've seen, I think, before.
Oh, absolutely.
I liked it. It was
Which I
very
really
different.
liked.
It
was very
wasn't just
different.
throwing punches, jumping around, using magic or
You know, there was choreography. There were
Yeah.
longer takes.
The
we were
longer
watching the
takes is
action.
what I
yeah,
liked too.
that's true.
Like,
the camera was
it
moving
was
around.
just- The camera was moving.
You
but
couldn't
we
tell
never
what was
cut.
going on,
and you could
most of
tell
the
it
time.
was him,
Yeah.
which is what I really liked. And
Yeah.
some of the choreography, especially on the bus, where there's the poles and
Yeah,
there's
they were
all-
using the
they were
environment
using
to
the
their
environment very
into
well.
the fight, which was cool.
And I think the most notable shot that really made me chuckle and lean back in awe was when the bus driver gets knocked out. And
Oh, yeah,
he's in
he
the middle
jumps,
and
yeah.
he's jumping and he slides through the railing and the
yeah.
ceiling
Yeah.
into the seat.
That was
and
good.
that was him.
That was good.
notable,
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, this is great fighting. This is great choreography.
Yeah.
One of the only things I heard going into the movie was how well the fight scenes are
Yeah,
choreographed.
I agree. Yeah.
So I was ready for it. I was expecting it, and it certainly delivered.
Lived up
That
to that,
scene was
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I really liked, I don't know if it was just because we were in the Ultra AVX theater and the sound was a lot louder, but the sound effects when they hit each other,
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
I like that a lot. I don't know if
Really?
I don't remember
I-
how it sounded in other movies, but because in the other Marvel movies, you don't have people punching each other very often. You have lasers, you have
a lot of
you have a lot of
hammers and
shooting,
shields
yeah,
and
and guns
shooting.
and everything. You don't have fist to face action.
Right.
That's
you don't
a good
you don't
point, actually.
yeah you don't
That's a
hear
very
the
good
sound
point.
effects of bodies hitting each other as much, and it was really crisp. And I don't know if they were just if it was because I wasn't used to it or if it was the theater, but those sound effects were really well designed, and not just those ones, but the sound effects in other fights, especially with the rings and the vibrating of those,
Yeah.
and then flying around and everything. I think the sound editing in the movie is really good.
Yeah,
And I appreciate it.
I didn't actually really notice the sound effects, probably because I was just too busy laughing my
Yeah,
head
'cause I was
off.
listening to people just
Um,
hitting skin, hitting face and chest and everything, and it was nice.
But you are right now that I think about it. Like
Yeah.
that is. When was the last fist fight we had in the Marvel universe?
Can't
It's
think
been a
of one.
while.
They've all been in suits or using powers.
Like maybe Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Maybe, yeah,
it's
that's-
one of the Captain Americas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not the first one. There was in the first one, but that wasn't the last.
And not the third one
one-
either.
Yeah, second one for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really striking, and it wasn't necessary, but it didn't take away from the scene. But the comedy with the one bus.
Oh, I liked the guy live streaming.
Yeah,
fighting
that was
it.
I thought
funny.
that
It
was really funny.
It was modern. It was
And it
topical.
tied into the movie. They
Yeah.
managed to tie
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
because they needed that recording.
That's true, and that it furthered the plot.
Yeah, I was,
So it
I was
was-
enjoying it.
Good plot device.
Yeah, we see Aquafina's character right away, kind of showing that she can hold
can
her own
drive.
too. She got behind the wheel there.
I drive, she can drive.
Yeah. I also think there was a reference to Speed at the
Really?
very end when they finally stopped the bus, and she turns to him and she's like, "We make a pretty good team." Don't quote me on it, but it sounds like something that was said in Speed.
It sounds like something that was said from something. We make a pretty good team.
Because it was Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock in Speed.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I know it
right.
was
And
Keanu
I'm-
Reeves, but
And they go through a lot in that movie,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure at the very end, I don't know which one of them says it, but I'm pretty sure they say we make a good team.
Could have been.
And the brakes failed, so they can't go under 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, and we got introduced to a henchman that was really boss. What was it? Razor
Fist.
Fist.
Yeah, he was cool.
Who must be a comic dude, but
Probably, yeah.
But he was really cool, and usually the big brooding henchman isn't very interesting. He just gets hit or something, and then some.
Or he dies early for
Or he
comedic
dies
effects.
for comedic
Look at
effects.
this big, strong guy.
Yeah,
that's
or
gone.
when I saw his name, because you don't need to learn his name until later when they steal his car.
Right.
It reminded me of Taserface.
I thought
Taserface.
Taserface right
Yeah.
away.
Which is just a comedic character.
Just a comedic henchman, right?
Yeah,
But this guy
was
was
cool.
good and cool.
I don't get the logistics of his arm though, because the sword is in his arm.
Yeah.
And it just comes out. But where does it come from? Because it's obviously not in his arm, because that's a normal human arm. But it comes out of nowhere. And then he replaces it later.
You'll find I don't question the logic of Marvel movies.
I know, but it just made me. I was just thinking about it.
Man has a knife for a fist. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then so yeah, that was good. And then I guess it takes us right to
His sister.
And the Fight Club.
Right, because they take his pendant and everything.
Was also
take
fun.
His pendant, and they gotta go. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was the thing in the trailer that was advertised for this movie was Wong versus Abomination.
I didn't know that because I didn't watch any of the ads.
Yeah, so you're surprised.
So yeah, I got a chuckle out of seeing Wong and then seeing that he's actually buddies with the guy that's beating him up.
Yeah,
and then
you
they
recognize
just
him though, right?
disappear. He looked kind of familiar. I couldn't tell you where.
The Incredible Hulk. He was the villain in the
Tim
Incredible
Roth
Hulk,
character.
2008.
Yeah, I felt like it was.
Because it was Hulk
like
and anti-Hulk.
was supposed
It looked like
died,
him,
but-
and it made me think of that. But I thought this one was too fishy.
They made him more comic accurate with the fins and everything. That's
Okay.
how he's supposed to look like.
Mhm.
But people didn't like how he looked in the old movie, and they made his face look more like Tim Roth, I think, or they made his face look more like a face instead of which
But
I thought was interesting. And I like that they were also working together to make money. I think.
Yeah, it was
That was
fun to
funny.
see.
And one thing I noticed was when they're getting to Abomination and Wong, one of the cages they pass with people fighting, one of the fighters has the Iron Man 3
Yeah, one of the Mandarin
orange
jockeys
stuff going through his body.
Yeah,
Really?
he was glowing
Yeah,
and
he was
everything.
glowing.
And
I
it was,
didn't see
the
that.
girl that was like fighting him, and then I think it was Katie that was like, "Oh yeah, you go, girl," or something. Someone said something,
There was another reference in.
or no, it was the guy, the tour guide who said something to her. I think.
I'm pretty sure there was another reference in that fight.
The only one I
club
know is a big
area.
sumo guy.
No, it wasn't a
it.
person. There was some other reference in there that made me chuckle. I'm like, I know that, and I can't remember what it was right now. Yeah, that was fun though. I liked it. And Macau, I don't think we see many movies that take place in Macau. I didn't realize
I don't
that's
remember
what the city looks like now. I knew I knew it was a big city, but it was cool to see that.
Yeah.
And another cool fight outside the building.
Yeah, outside the building was good, and but yeah, first and then so he's getting into this fight, and his shirt's off for whatever reason, probably just to show his superhero physique.
Yeah,
And then his
which I
opponent,
also,
his opponent's coming out, and I think Paul, we looked at each other and we're like, oh, it's his sister. Before he was.
Oh yeah, no, it's obvious.
Like, oh, okay,
You know
so here's
it's
his
that.
sister.
yeah.
Even before I watched this movie, I didn't know that the dad was going to be the villain because it was probably explained already. It was probably already obvious. But I was like, oh yeah, the villain's probably going to be something like his dad. And then the movie opened with that. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
there we go.
But yeah, his sister wasn't an antagonist, but for a moment an antagonistic force.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But it was cool to watch,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
alright.
that wasn't just yet another fight sequence that was just really well done, really well choreographed. Usually modern action movies, especially Marvel, fight sequences are always rapidly cut and moving around, and you don't really see anything.
yeah,
But with this movie, that wasn't the case. You could really watch them beat each other up.
Also, they weren't speaking English there, which I thought was
They were in there again.
cool.
They
It
weren't
made
speaking
sense.
English again,
made
which makes
sense. It was
sense.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know because they said Shang-Chi knew 4 languages. I want to know what the other 2 are.
Yeah.
Because English and Mandarin, and I don't know what the other 2 are.
Yeah.
But I
That'd
don't
be
know.
cool.
Maybe we'll find
figure that out
we'll
in
find
some
out one
other
day.
movie.
Yeah,
I don't doubt it.
he knows like Wakandan or something.
Yeah. And then we get the side of the building action sequence,
Right.
which was just as good because the bus sequence, he had him going through the bars and everything.
And
this
there's
kind of
more
had a
bars.
similar case,
Yeah.
right?
There were also some shots. I guess I'm jumping ahead towards the end of the fight.
Yeah.
There were some shots that kind of gave me Skyfall vibes with the
roof-
big billboards
the glass
and the
building fight,
the glass. Yeah. But yeah, good exterior fight.
Really good exterior fight, and it was cool to see kind of the brother-sister dynamic fighting together. And also, I really got a good laugh out of Aquafina turning around and singing Hotel California.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
that was
yes,
that
yes.
was funny. Yeah,
Cool wind. That was really funny.
it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, good little running joke.
Yeah, and it was cool to see Sean fighting just another better henchman, the guy with the mask.
I think
Cool.
so.
It was cool.
I remember. I think before the movie, I read that the character's name is Death Dealer.
Ooh, that's a dope
Ooh.
name.
But I find that ironic because he deals no death in this movie.
And he dies.
He dies. His death is dealt
Yeah.
to him very quickly,
Yeah.
and near the last act.
Yep.
And he could have been used a little more, I think, because he had that one fight scene, and that was it.
I think so.
He had a few shots throughout the movie, but that was about
cool. I think they used him more than, what was it, Taskmaster from Black Widow.
Oh,
it. That's true.
So
Yeah, that was his name.
they used him better than they used Taskmaster.
So
for sure.
I have no issues with how it was done.
I guess so. It's just that I think the promotional material hyped him up a lot,
Yeah.
and he wasn't that much in the movie. But oh well.
Yeah, so that fight was starting out to be really good, and I thought, okay, so Sean's going to show us what he can do, and he's going to take this guy down. But then obviously, the
His
dad
dad comes
shows
in.
up.
Yeah.
If that showed up like 5 seconds later, the guy would be dead.
Yeah,
I
he was
also-
ready to take him out.
I
Yeah.
liked the flashbacks.
the
Like,
They
one
were
he was a
used
kid.
well.
And especially during the fight. I don't think there were many flashbacks during the fight, but especially when he was going to kill Death Dealer, some of those flashbacks, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense why you really want to kill him.
flashbacks during the action sequences or the fight sequences, they were used a lot, maybe too much. They were used quite a bit. I feel like subtext that we could have kind of understood on our own after 2 hours of the movie.
I didn't,
Yeah.
didn't
But,
mind it too much.
But yeah, and then the movie just slams the brakes and slows down for an hour. Is what
It
I
was
felt.
really an hour.
The second act was pretty slow.
Yeah, 'cause it wasn't only until the last act where I looked at my watch and I was like, oh, it's almost 2 hours into the movie, or it's because we started at a little after 7:30, and I was looking, it was just past 9. And I was like, oh, that was pretty quick, because it passed pretty quickly until that part where it slowed down when they got to, I forgot the name of the village.
When they got to the compound,
Were they a prisoner?
Oh no! Oh, I thought you were
the
talking about when they
compound,
get to the fantasy village.
the dad takes them home.
Right.
No,
That too.
yeah.
Yeah, that does slow down, but that's like halfway through the movie, I think.
Yeah, it slows down.
Yeah.
Interesting. You found it slow.
I found it slow.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just regular pace because everything else before that was just action scenes,
I
pretty
didn't-
much.
I didn't
That's
mind
why I
it.
felt slower.
Yeah, the pacing just felt off for me. It felt like they slammed the brakes a little too hard, and that there was just kind of building everything with the backstory and everything.
Yeah, but
Which
you
was
needed more
fine.
exposition, I guess. That's why I had to cram a lot of things into there.
Yeah, maybe too much, but
Interesting.
no. And then we get.
And then
Trevor.
we get Ben
Oh.
Kingsley back in. I knew he was going to be in the movie because he was in the cast list.
Yes,
And I mentioned it to you
you'd
guys
said that.
earlier.
And as soon as I
And
heard the moaning, I
heard
turned
the
to
moaning.
Palmer, my jaw wide open with excitement because I'm like, we're gonna get him now.
And I turned to Palmer too, and I was like, that's Ben
'Cause-
Kingsley in there.
Often when
Yeah.
they get credit for that, it's for something really minor, maybe in the background, maybe like 3
Yeah.
minutes.
No, but he was
we
the
were like
regular-
halfway through,
he's a
and
supporting
they
character.
were tossing him in. I'm like, we're really gonna get him now.
Yeah. He wasn't in there a lot, but he was in there. He was a part of the story.
Dare I say, Trevor Slattery is one of the best characters in the MCU.
Really? Like
I think
for
so.
real, really.
He
Interesting.
doesn't do anything,
But he's funny.
but he's
pretty
funny.
But he does it well.
He does it well.
He does nothing
Or, sorry,
pretty well.
I shouldn't say he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do much.
He doesn't kill people. I don't think. Maybe
No, he
that's
has-
canon.
he hasn't killed
We
anyone.
haven't seen him kill anyone. He doesn't throw shields or hammers or shoot lasers. He's also
He doesn't
yeah,
fight at all.
He's just an actor.
he's an
He's an
actor. I guess if we really want to delve in and break the Marvel movies down, which is something I don't do, he is comedic effect,
Yeah.
but he does it so well. And even him as the Mandarin, I think he's one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Yeah. I see that. He's one of the only recurring characters who don't contribute to anything really big.
He's purely comedic effect, and
That's
I think
true.
that's why I like him.
And we might see him again.
Yeah,
'Cause
now
he didn't die.
I wouldn't rank my favorite MCU characters, and he wouldn't be in the top 5, but I really enjoy his character.
He was fun.
Yeah.
And then we get my spirit animal.
Morris.
Morris was also fantastic.
Morris was awesome.
Morris and Trevor, one of the best pairings
They kind of
in the
stole the show there
MCU.
for a bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's funny. He was a good little guy.
They were
He's a
really
little
good.
dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if any like him or Morris or any of the other creatures were based on actual folklore or anything. Because those like little lion creatures, they look a little familiar.
The foxes
and the dragon
look
everything
to
too.
me.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's a
like,
nine-tailed fox, but
yeah.
They looked familiar too.
I have a strong feeling that it is based on myth, because
doubt,
it would
probably.
make sense for them to use actual story animals, story creatures.
But yeah, Trevor and Morris. For a second, when they got to the village, I thought because Trevor could understand Morris, he would kind of be welcomed into the village and stay there because he can communicate with the animals.
And he was welcome, but we didn't see him being welcome. He was just sort of there.
He was
just playing soccer with some of the kids.
Again, great.
Which is pretty. That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and them escaping the compound has some good sequences there, especially in the car.
Yep.
And
It's good driving. Yeah.
And the sequence of them driving through the forest was really good.
Oh yeah, that was not bad.
With the
Yes,
forest, stay in the pocket.
Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket.
And the forest closing in on them.
Yeah, it's just like 3 meters. How much is that in feet? Really close.
Really
close.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was good. And then they got to the village there.
Yeah.
Talo?
Something like that. Tao-lo.
I think it was it wasn't just Talo, was it?
No, it's 2 words.
Yeah, TA space LO.
No, Tao space Lo. I think Tao-lo.
You know what?
Or,
We're gonna pull it up.
I think. I don't want to get it wrong.
We're gonna
just
double
out
check
of
this. Talo.
respect.
TA space LO.
Really?
Talo. That's probably not how it's pronounced.
No, it sounded like that's how they're pronouncing it. But yeah. I think it's an interesting place. We didn't see anything like that before. Obviously, it's very. I think it's very based on a lot of Chinese culture, and that's why we haven't seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this movie revolves around that a lot, which is good. It's a good representation, and I think it was an interesting sort of fantasy world. It even describes itself as its own universe, which is interesting because they do go through a portal.
Demon universe.
Yeah.
Or and them as well.
Yeah.
They had their own universe, and it
Then
kind
they-
of became demon universe.
Yeah, they do have demons.
Yes.
I don't think we've seen demons before.
I really
in Marvel
liked the
movies.
design, but I also liked how you couldn't kill them with regular weapons. Like they were
Yeah,
slicing through them with
I
a
like-
sword, and they kind of
I like that
disintegrated
they-
and came back.
Yeah, I like that they couldn't be destroyed normally, and they kept reforming together.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool effect.
Yeah, and then
And
the
they only
next...
can only use dragon scales for it.
Dragon armor and dragon scale
armor was
armor
good,
and
yeah.
weapons
They look
was
cool.
cool.
They look cool.
What
I
would,
thought it was fire, but it was a dragon scale.
what would win,
Sorry.
that or vibranium?
That's a good
Vibranium.
question. Well,
I'm thinking vibranium because they're just wooden sticks with the dragon scale bit on the end.
vibranium.
but we'd have to see it in action. I feel like
We would
they'll
have to see
pull that up one day.
Probably.
Yeah, and then I think it felt like, because then they had to do 2 things. They had to kind of establish the background for the kind of emotional resolution at the end,
Right.
and then they had to train and get ready for.
They didn't do a lot of training. There was like 1 or 2
his
scenes of
arrival.
training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think kind of around this point, I'm kind of starting to notice.
Formula?
Okay, here it is. Now they're gonna.
And then a
train
big
and
fight,
they're
and,
gonna come.
and he's gonna go down
It's
a
a
little
Marvel
bit.
movie,
and then he's gonna come back, and he wins
Yeah.
in the end.
So I think around this
You
point,
could
I'm like,
see it.
okay, so now let's have
Just
this
do it in an
Marvel
impressive
movie
way.
Wrap up. Yeah, but I held on, and then the father's arrival. I'm like, okay, it's time. Now it's the showdown.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good. Still with the fighting sequences and the
Yeah, they were
choreography was still good. And then he takes off right to the little memorial area for the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And Shang-Chi follows him, and that was good because I like that we got him now grown old, having the exchange with the dad. Because I thought it was kind of cool to see that dynamic. It was cool to see them act and to talk and to speak instead of just fighting.
Have a normal conversation, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed that. And then what? So he gets knocked into the water
Yep.
pretty aggressively, and we're kind of really seeing the full power of the Ten Rings, and then he goes for the...
And we kind of forget about Shang-Chi for like 10 minutes, maybe.
And then
He's just
Shang-Chi's like
drowning.
gone for
He's
like
drowning.
5 minutes.
He's drowning for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's explained like, oh, he can suddenly breathe underwater
The
afterwards.
air
the bubbles
bubbles,
were saving
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing too. I'm like, okay, so where's...
He's
Is
underwater.
he still under the water? Where'd he
He's
go?
still underwater.
Yeah, and then it cuts to him, and then he has a flashback with his mom telling him
Another
that to
flashback,
embrace
yeah.
himself, to know who he really is. And I think it's a good. It didn't. The movie didn't talk about it that much because I feel like it's a movie just trying to be a movie about identity and finding yourself, and it only goes through that with that in the end.
Yeah, I didn't
And
feel
then
too
with
much
Katie,
of
but
that.
with her mom telling her to find a job, that sort of touched upon it a bit.
They during the training, they also went into it a little bit about him harnessing the.
Yeah, but I
the
feel like if they
tableau
could have
power.
explored it more throughout the movie, so it hit harder in the end.
I thought it was a little weak. Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
alluded to it here and there. I
It's
didn't
fine.
think the themes were super strong, or at least as strong as they wanted it to be. You know, certainly a good message, a good theme to include.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it hit home too much. But
Yeah.
oh well. And then what I really enjoyed, again, Marvel. You need comedy in the middle of a fight. So when they realized they gotta work together,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the two
Yes.
armies.
Yeah.
That was
That was good.
some comedy there with Razor
Razor fist.
Razor fist. You almost said face.
face.
Razor
I'm just thinking
face.
laser face.
Taser
Probably one day.
Taser face.
They'll meet
Taser
one day,
face.
maybe. They're both still alive, I think. Right?
Taserface is
Taserface
dead.
is
He was
dead.
shot out in airlock.
Oh,
Yeah.
they'll bring him back.
The
There's
multiverse.
Maybe.
Taserface in the
Maybe it'll
multiverse.
come
Caesar
back.
face and Razor fist.
We need a movie.
We need a
Just-
spin-off.
Yeah.
like the Fast and Furious one.
Yeah. But no, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, speaking of the
Yeah.
comedy breaks in the fight, Trevor playing dead, and then
That was funny,
and then
yeah.
Morris comes and curls up.
Morris comes and
Next to
plays
him.
dead
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. Paul.
What?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna say something.
No.
But no, yeah, and then like we mentioned earlier, we get introduced to these the flying things.
No demons. Soul
the
suckers.
demons.
And that was shot really well, but I think when I really started to notice the CGI when they went to the village, like the dialogue sequences. I mean, it's Marvel, so it's gonna happen, but you know when you really notice that they're on a soundstage and that
Yeah.
it's really all blue around them, it takes me away
Yeah.
from
it
what's
sucks
happening a
little
bit.
yeah.
But you know, it's hard to complain about that because that's.
What are they gonna do?
That's-
What are they gonna shoot on location like every other movie?
Yeah, no, they're not going to do that. They're going to stay in
It's-
Atlanta and film on sound stages.
Are they really going to fly to China and build a 500-acre set
Yeah.
that they can blow up?
Yeah, so I really noticed it there, which is too bad, but that's going to happen. Yeah, and then we get the big dragon.
Dragon was
Big
cool.
Dragon was cool. Well,
Big Dragon was
Underwater
cool.
Dragon was already cool.
Underwater dragon was cool.
And then Evil Dragon.
I was talking
Evil
about
Dragon.
Good Dragon. Good
you're
Dragon
talking about
was
Good
cool.
Dragon?
Good Dragon was
Good
cool.
dragon was cool.
Evil Dragon was also cool.
Evil Dragon.
Evil Dragon was also
evil
cool.
demon.
The big
Wasn't
sucker.
expecting that.
They call it
The big-
Destroyer of Worlds or something.
The big soul
Yeah.
sucker, whatever
Yeah.
they said at the restaurant.
yeah.
Mhm. They didn't really resolve. I mean, it's because the mother's talking to him throughout the whole movie, right? That's why he's going there to try
Well,
to.
that was the
rescue
big
her.
soul sucker. She had to. He
Yeah,
had
that was
her
the big
voice.
s-
The big soul sucker came out and he's kind of like, "You're not my wife."
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it kind
Oh,
of
they
fell
never
a little
resolved.
flat there.
He never let his wife go.
Yes, and there was
Right.
really no resolution with his
Family
name's escaping
dynamic.
me now.
Tony Long.
Tony Long's character's name is escaping
Oh.
me.
Well, I don't. They said his name once. in the entire
Yeah,
movie.
he's
Dad.
escaping me. The dad. Sorry. I feel like I wanted more of a resolution with the whole family thing
'cause
because
he just died.
he
Yeah.
does kind of save him by getting him out of harm's way, and then they have the look, and then more flashbacks. But
Yeah,
I would have liked the
Did they
word.
have
Yeah.
flashbacks?
There
when
was
he dying?
flashbacks of them
When he was
together up until
Right.
baby,
Yeah.
like his age now, teenager, child, baby.
Yeah.
When his
When
dad
he's
was
getting
His
gone.
dad was
sucked
getting
out.
his soul sucked.
Yeah.
out.
Really?
And
Okay.
his,
More
dad, his dad's
flashbacks.
name is Wen Wu.
Wan Wu.
I don't
There you go.
remember
Yeah.
those. Maybe I do remember those flashbacks.
Yeah, more flashbacks, and I get that what they were trying to do is, one last look.
Right.
Here's the rings, right? But there wasn't much there.
They didn't resolve that.
There wasn't much of a resolution there, which was too bad.
They were building up a lot.
They were really building up for something.
Yeah. And they had a big climactic fight.
They had a big climactic fight,
and
he saves him, and then a look, flashback, gone.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate.
But we did get cool fighting after that. We did get cool, like a big spectacle, dragging, exploding.
Fighting. And that's when we kind of, okay, now this is Marvel fighting big CGI.
Yeah.
Which, again, is hard to complain about because that's what you're going to get.
That's what you pay for.
That's what you pay for. It was too bad, because I think maybe I felt like, that choreography was so cool at the beginning, but you're not going to get that choreography when you're fighting dragons.
When I was watching. Sorry, I'm just thinking back to the dad dying. I wasn't focused on, nor was I really caring about the dad's arc. I was more focused on the fact that he didn't kill him, because he was he was psyching himself up. He's like, I gotta kill him. I don't really want to, and I'm not proud that I've killed other people.
Yeah.
And then he was ready to start killing him, and then he decided he wasn't going to kill him when he was harnessing up that big ball of rings, ready to shoot him. And he's like, you know what? You can have them, and if you want to kill me, go ahead.
Yeah, and
for me, that was the conclusion of those arcs.
I guess that was kind of a typical formulaic character arc.
Me as standard viewer, because again, I'm not analyzing the movie as I'm watching it. That's just what I felt while I was watching it.
I think it would have been really interesting if he just killed him right there. I would not have expected
that would have been unexpected. That would have been unpredictable.
That would have been good.
Yeah. But then we would have gotten even less of a resolution between them.
Well, I think in a way it would have resolved it maybe in a bad way. Like he just succumbs to those feelings and he has to deal with that later.
Because you don't see that very often, especially in Marvel.
I don't think that's what I would have wanted from that movie, though.
Well, it's not what I would have wanted.
I was thinking about it, and I'm like,
it's
obviously not going to happen. And, I feel like it shouldn't have, because
I think
if we want this character to move forward and face forward, is just good. You don't need to kill his dad.
Fair enough. I think they did the right thing.
Yeah. And then the big CGI dragon fight was
I was worried that Simu would not have his big moment in the end of winning, of saving the world and everything, because there was everyone else helping. His sister was helping him. Katie was shooting the arrow and everything.
When the arrow went through,
is he gonna do the final blow? And then he did. He shot everything into him, and he blew it up.
He blew it up. Satisfying.
Whatever.
That was
very
good.
satisfying. His whole motion, and then the ring.
He was just flying for a while.
Giant dragon explodes.
Yeah,
blood everywhere too. You could see the blood. There was a lot of dragon blood.
It met my expectation. I was satisfied. After that happened.
One thing I think we moved over was that I took note of was during the father-son fight, they brought back the slow motion glances again.
Right, they did. Yeah.
Which kind of,
it was different.
I don't know how I felt about it, because in my head that means romance.
Right.
Because that's what they built it up to be.
Interesting.
And I wasn't sure, what were they trying to do? Were they trying to be like?
I think you see less romance and more relationship or family.
I feel like they
familial affection, familial love, not necessarily romantic love.
They really tried to resolve this father-son conflict through the looks, through the glances, through the subtext, and I just didn't think it was enough in the end. I noticed, their intent and their attempts. I think maybe me personally, I think I wanted more. I wanted words. I wanted dialogue between them.
I guess so.
Because there was none.
Oh, that big slow motion, yes.
When they're in front of the big door.
Yeah. When he's getting...
They're doing the whole...
Oh, also when he's getting sucked up, and it really slowed down there.
But
that was good, I didn't mind that.
Yeah, and then the big dragon... like you said, he got his superhero defining moment.
Yeah.
He can take...
He finally crosses
forward.
From I don't know what I'm doing with all these abilities I have, to, I'm saving the world sort of thing with like they do in every single
Marvel movie, but it's cool and it's necessary if you want to use these characters repeatedly.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
So that was cool, and then What, we got a bit of aftermath on the what grass?
Because I thought they might have just ended it right there after the farewell to the fallen soldiers and everything.
Right, the
I was worried they were going to end it
because
there.
I was thinking like when we watched the Transformers movies a little while ago, they just ended it right after the fight at the end, like a minute after.
But
I was
this
like,
is
oh no, they're
I
gonna
am
do
Optimus Prime.
because I feel like they did do that with other Marvel movies. It's very like after the climax. It's maybe 5 to 10 minutes after.
They don't
it
do
ends.
nearly as quickly.
Not
as
that
Transformers.
quick, but
there's a quick witty banter and then credits.
Yeah, it's just a bit of comedy and that's it.
Yeah.
Which is what they did here,
Yeah.
essentially.
It is pretty much what they did.
They go back to the bar.
This was quicker than most Marvel.
It was
like,
pretty
most Marvel
quick.
movies drag on for.
It was pretty. Yeah,
I
it
should
was quick.
rephrase. Most Marvel movies don't drag on, but they continue for quite a while.
Yeah, they
after
have more
the battle.
of an aftermath.
Now,
Yeah.
of course, you don't need a ton of aftermath for
You
most
don't, yeah,
movies
but-
because then you're really just extending the runtime.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess they did go a little bit more with the mid-credit scene, post-credit
Yeah.
scene.
So what? They get sent right back to San Francisco with the couple from earlier,
Which I'm glad
Yeah.
they did.
which was good. It was funny, and because usually Marvel characters, they don't or can't talk about whatever's happened.
Who's
Yeah.
gonna believe that
Yeah.
story?
Yeah,
right?
and then
But
they do,
Aquafina's like,
that was
wow,
funny.
hey,
Yeah.
I mean, we were shooting
And they
our
did
tree
believe
and
him.
everything.
And then you get the
And they did
satisfaction of it being true, and then the friend realizing it's true when Wong shows up.
Yeah,
Wong
Wong
shows up.
Good. That's funny.
Which of course, he's got to be in there. He's going to be in there. He was in there, and they take him away to Shang-Chi 2.
Yes.
Or whatever other team-up
Avengers.
movie.
Or yeah,
Yeah.
because they'll team up at some point.
Avengers
Yeah, they're gonna-
2.0.
I don't know with who,
But I think it would be cool to see his skill set with an Avengers type of team.
Yeah.
Avengers 2.0.
Yeah, whatever it's going to be called, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Who else is going to be there? Maybe Fantastic Four,
The Doctor Strange team.
the Doctor Strange team.
See, I was thinking Doctor Strange, but he's occupied with Spider-Man and Wanda.
Well,
Yeah, but later
so
on,
long.
it's got to be after that event.
they would incorporate Spider-Man and Wanda into the sorry, when I
The
say
new
Doctor
Avengers,
Strange
yeah.
team, I mean like Avengers, but it's called the Doctor Strange team.
Because Iron Man is dead and Doctor Strange has to lead it. Assume it.
But he's more self-centered than Tony, and we call it the Doctor Strange team, or Doctor Strange and Friends.
Yeah.
That would be the movie title.
and when Wong showed up, and just before the end credits rolled, I thought right away is like because Wong dips in the No Way Home trailer.
Oh, you're right.
So now I'm thinking, okay, so is that some
Oh.
Shang-Chi something going on there?
Perhaps.
So
perhaps.
that's the first thing
or
I thought
he
because Wong dips.
leaves a lot in the other movies. In Infinity War, he
Infinity
goes
War
back.
dips.
He just keeps going. Has he been training with Abomination this whole time? Is that what this movie is answering? Has he just been having a hobby?
We need a standalone Wong.
We need a
movie.
Wong
We
movie.
need
Marvel
a
get
Wong
on it.
movie.
Marvel
Or a TV
get on
show.
it.
They're gonna make- they'll make a
Or
TV show, I
a
think.
Disney Plus
That would
series.
be more
yeah.
likely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Wong and Friends.
Wong friends.
Wong and it's Wong, Abomination,
And his merry
some-
band of
some other
misfits
guys.
he meets along the way.
some other
Yeah.
fun guys.
But then so Wong pulls up, takes him away, and their friends are like, "Whoa, what's going on?" Then credits roll.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll Venmo for you for that later. That's funny.
That was funny. That was good.
Yeah,
Um,
credits roll and then mid-credit scene when
and
they
then we get our credits, and people in the theater starting to walk out.
They forget how Marvel
Max,
works.
it's been 13 years, guys.
They forget
Max
how it
10,
works.
20 people walked out, and everyone else was still there. 95%
forget
of
how
the
it
theater.
works.
It's been well over a decade.
Or they've never seen a movie before.
do
They're like,
not
oh,
understand.
They're there with their kids and like, oh yeah, no, this looks like a fun kids movie. I'll take my kids to it. I don't
Yeah.
know what this is.
Yeah. People
don't know
start to
how.
walk out, and obviously we sit, and the first one is really cool. We get Wong,
I really liked that.
and off screen we hear a voice. I'm like, Banner. What's Banner doing?
Banner.
But see,
Not Hulk.
it's not Professor Hulk.
Not Professor Hulk. It's
He's in a sling.
regular Banner.
He's in the
right.
sling.
He was the Hulk.
He's in the
before,
sling
wasn't he?
because he snapped and he has the broken arm. the
Oh
messed up
yeah, I
arm.
forgot
But
about
he's
that.
not
No.
Professor Hulk.
And what's up with that?
I completely forgot about that.
Interesting.
So I was surprised to see Banner. I was even more surprised to see Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really been showing
Well-
much direction with her other than...
Because she was on like the conference thing in the Endgame, right?
She was
Yeah.
on
So
the
she's
conference
part of
thing.
the like Avengers.
Yeah.
She's part
support.
of the conference call.
She's part of the the support team.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised to see Banner as Banner because obviously
right.
he's got the arm
I
and the
noticed
sling
that
I
after
forgot
the fact,
about
like
that.
right at the end of the
Because it's destroyed from
cutscene, I
snapping.
realized he's not Professor Hulk.
in Endgame, yeah.
I just realized that now.
And then Wong really lays it on them that, okay, you're going to get 3 more movies and 3 team-up movies.
Yeah.
And he basically just spelled it out
You're
for
each
us.
part of this
What-
now. Unless you die.
A journey that you will... Yeah.
What I liked though is they were diving into the origin of the rings.
Yeah, and
I
there's
thought that
a
was
beacon
cool.
in it. So
That'd be cool.
that calling the next Thanos.
The beacon
The next
was interesting,
bad
but
guy.
I also like they're like, oh, it's not vibranium, it's not from Captain Marvel's world. When did you
it's
get?
not from it's not from space. It's,
when did you get these? Oh, 1,000 years
It
ago.
could be hundreds
They're
of thousands of
older
years old.
than
It could be
that.
from the dinosaurs.
And that's when I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They'll play a part later on.
Yeah, so that's cool, set up. Obviously, you need to set up the next thing.
Yeah.
And then we get a 10 ring setup, which was cool. With
They will
Yeah.
return, yeah.
They will return.
Well, maybe for good, maybe for worse.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was really confused. I'm like, so is this a good thing that she's training more people to be good, or
We'll have
because
to
it was
see.
it was very
Or is she
ambiguous.
taking over her dad's
It was very
legacy?
ambiguous.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
approach to the next generation.
Yeah, and I mean maybe they're purposely leaving it open. Maybe we'll get
Probably.
an evil 10 rings, or it'll be more like a cameo. You'll see a poster. It's like 10 rings private security, or
Yeah.
something like that, where it's just like the circles but without the swords. Some kind of like, I don't know, similar to maybe the Stark Relief Foundation. It's like 10 rings private
Right.
security or something, where they train these body. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, and we don't know. At least it hasn't been announced what they're doing with that. But I can see that being like an 8-episode series of her with the 10 rings people.
Could
Could
yeah.
do.
I could
be
see
possibly.
Also,
Also.
jumping back, the water map.
Water
That whole
that.
sequence.
Oh, the water
That was
mountain.
cool.
Super cool.
That was
we
cool.
haven't seen water do that yet.
No.
We've seen some cool vibranium stuff, but the water, slow motion water, falling water,
Yeah, that
water
was
maps. I thought that was all super cool.
The water was really good.
Yeah,
But yeah, so then
that's that really.
do we want to give our closing overall thoughts? Maybe even a rating if we have it.
Yeah, sure.
And
I'm interested to see because you've touched on things you liked, you've touched on things you didn't like.
yeah,
So I'm curious what your thoughts are with this.
yeah.
I know.
For me, the action sequences were some of the best in the MCU. They were trying to be some of the best action
Yeah,
sequences
that's
in the
true.
MCU, and that worked. Other than that, it was an MCU origin story with a different context.
I like a new movie. We haven't seen a new character
a while.
since
It's
Captain
been a while.
Marvel.
Captain
since
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Nothing too extraordinary, which is why I would
Right.
put it in the middle of the pack. Maybe
That's not bad.
maybe low mid.
Okay.
Down there with some of the other first in the series solo movies. I don't know. I don't think other than the action sequences, nothing jumped out at me too much. I mean, the actor's really good, especially Tony Long. I really like him.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see him doing, action American action movies. Even though I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in too much, anyways. But yeah, so for me, it was good. I mean, Marvel. There's no, in my opinion, bad Marvel movies. Like Evan said, it's just a matter of is it as good as Iron Man or Endgame or Homecoming or Civil War? No.
Yeah.
In my opinion, no. So probably not in the top 10 or 15, but certainly not a bad movie. Certainly a lot of enjoyable moments. Like I said, it kind of lost me there in the middle because it kind of had to give
Yeah.
us that backstory and give us that emotional build-up. And in the midst of it, I was kind of like, all right, let's... So yeah, I would rate it kind of in that like third tier of MCU, maybe 3 stars.
That's fair.
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's me.
Paul, what'd you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of the same feelings.
Mhm.
The action was cool. The fight scenes were impressive.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. But aside from that, it's a very safe movie. Very
That's
generic.
that's a good word.
Yeah.
Safe.
They
That's a
didn't
good
try anything too new. They did put a lot of representation into this. They put a lot of new ideas and imagery.
That was really good.
And I appreciate that. It was fresh. It was different, which I liked. But that's just within the content. The form and the style of the movie, exact same as what we've seen before.
Yeah, the obstacles, the build up, the final battle. It's
The
just
story
it's the formula.
structure. Yeah, it's formulaic.
Yeah.
Is what you can call it. And that's why it's not an impressive movie overall. It was a fine movie.
Yeah.
It was a Marvel movie. It's even an adjective, what you could say now.
It's almost an
It's a
adjective
Marvel
now.
movie.
I thought it was really interesting that this is from the director of Just Mercy.
That's right.
Which we also
That's-
saw.
that's
which we
correct.
We
also
also
I forgot
saw in
about
theaters
that.
together.
Michael B. Jordan, Jamie
I
Foxx.
forgot about that.
He went from that court drama, which was a lot. I guess I think I like better than this movie in a way.
It was so grounded and so
It was-
real. Yeah.
Yeah, it was true story and everything.
True
They're,
story.
yeah,
And they go from that to these dragons fighting each other, rings
Yeah.
shooting everywhere, explosions.
It's kind of like what Chloe
And-
Zhao's doing with the Eternals.
That's
She goes
true,
from
yeah,
Nomadland to the Eternals.
and that's
Yeah.
like
And I think they're also just getting directors that have made these very normal, very real movies.
they
and-
really are getting the
And
independent.
they're being like,
kinda-
"Do you want to make this money?"
Yeah.
All you have to do is be like,
not
"Oh
gonna
yeah,
say
I want to
no.
do it this way."
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Sign me up. If
I don't
can
know how
make-
much say he had in this movie because I think maybe Kevin Feige had a lot more say in
Yeah,
what
but
was going on.
I do like what you said about safe, and
Yeah.
Captain Marvel's kind of the same way. But I think what it is these early Phase 4 movies are so crucial with setting up the next 10 movies.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So I think that's what Shang-Chi did in the end.
I was more looking forward to it more than Black Widow because it was new and because it's different.
Me too.
But in the end, I got what I was expecting.
Yep.
I was not surprised. I was not really disappointed either.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I would agree with you. Like maybe 3.5 stars
Yeah.
out of 5.
But I mean, you really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. They're no doubt setting up more movies.
Yeah.
Um,
As you know, you have to do with the MCU.
and this is our first actual Phase 4 movie, isn't it? Because like Black Widow came out in Phase 4.
And
Far From Home is technically Phase 4.
No, it's the end of Phase 3.
No, it's
I know
technically
they're
Phase 4.
saying
I
is the like bookend of it, right?
No, it's the start of Phase 4.
Yes, technically, because I guess.
Oh wait, no, sorry, you're right. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry,
I
you're
guess-
right. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. What?
No, it's not Phase 4. He's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the aftermath of Phase 3.
And while Black Widow did come out in Phase 4, it was
Prequel.
wrapping
It
up.
was,
It was a prequel.
It took place in Phase 3. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is, I think, our first actual Phase 4. It was setting things up, which I realized towards the end, and I could accept that. And yes, they're bringing in a lot of directors that are doing these smaller, low budget, not, I guess to a certain extent, indie films. Which I have no problem with. If I was in their shoes, yes, I would be a sellout. Let me make a Marvel movie and make tons of money.
Easily.
No hesitation there. And it's almost comparing apples and oranges, in a sense. Comparing Just Mercy to this massive factory that is Shang-Chi and the Marvel powerhouse. And that comes to my review. I enjoyed it. The action pieces were, I think, what made me enjoy it so much. Having that bus fight that early on made me really like it. It's not in my top 5, top 10 Marvel movies. I think it could be above Black Widow. I don't rank the Marvel movies, and this is my problem.
It definitely was for me.
This is my problem.
Yeah.
Especially having.
I'm not as definitive, actually. Sorry.
It's all good. That's my problem, especially having this as episode 1, and that's why I might have been kind of quiet, as you two are analyzing it, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But it's always been something I do where I don't analyze Marvel movies. I don't look into them. As I watch them, I'm entertained. I can turn my brain off. I can watch them.
Yeah.
Big explosions, big monsters, car chases, and some really fantastic fight sequences meant I enjoyed it. Maybe I hyped it up a little bit too much at the start, because you both pointed out things that were very true that I didn't notice.
You're a
because
little blinded. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
It's just it's a fun Marvel
And
movie.
I don't fault you for that.
And
No,
yes,
yeah, of
they're formulaic. I suppose you could say they're a Marvel movie by definition.
Yeah.
But that, and I did notice it. Like, you know how it's going to end. Shang-Chi can't die.
Yeah.
Oh, that
They
would've been
can't-
funny.
He's not gonna murder his dad in cold blood. Yeah.
I would have liked that.
Yeah, they can't go
Yeah.
completely artsy and have all of this subtle references and insane shots. It's got to follow a certain formula, but I didn't mind it. It wasn't anything different, but
That doesn't mean it's bad.
it
you know?
doesn't mean it's bad. And like, I go into Marvel movies not expecting the peak of cinema. I go in
Yeah.
and, like all movies, I will turn my brain off. I will watch it. I'll laugh when I'm supposed to, and
You'd be a good boy.
yes, and
Yes, Kevin, I will laugh.
there was, and I have no problem with that. I don't rank Marvel movies. I don't rate them. I don't review them. I enjoy them, and that's that. Like, I completely respect your opinions. I think they're both very valid. I think we're all pretty much in the same boat. I'm just struggling to explain that I liked it.
Yeah, and we keep saying it's formulaic, but like, I will take these formulaic movies to create this wonderful interconnected universe
Yeah.
with
I
movies
look
and
forward
shows
to
and
seeing
characters.
It will
where they
take
go
maybe another
and
8 to
everything.
10 years until we see the next type of Endgame.
Yeah, and that's
Without a
why
doubt.
that's why
Yeah.
I do rank, review, and rate, because they're all connected and they can be compared
That's
with
true.
with what they do within their runtime, but also the repercussions on
Right.
other
And
spectrums of the universe.
looking back, like, I think this is a pretty solid character setup movie. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's never going to be
Solid.
Iron Man, but looking back, and Captain America was also a
Pretty good, yeah.
very good setup. But like, looking back at Thor or even Avengers 1, they were good when they came out. On their own, they might not age well with time, but having all the movies around them makes them. I got lost with what I was trying to say. It was a good comic book adaptation, a good setup.
I mean, that's the MCU. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what we pay for. You know, going in
Yeah.
expecting something different is
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah, if you're listening to us and you hate Marvel movies, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
mean,
that's fair.
That's
and
fair.
You don't have to listen to us talk
You
about
probably
how
didn't
we
get.
enjoy
If
it.
you hate Marvel movies, you're probably not listening because you didn't get this far.
Yeah.
So whoever's still
Probably
listening, you're probably
Christmas.
game with Marvel movies.
You heard me start and say this was fantastic. I absolutely loved this movie, and you turned it off.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
fine.
This is true.
We're 70 minutes in. You definitely didn't stick around. But for those who did, see that segue?
Yes.
We want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
This was that. Oh, so do you not have a final rating?
No,
No,
not for
Heaven
this one.
doesn't do a lot of ratings.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
also I don't rate things.
Yeah.
If I'd have to say, like, it's standard.
Yeah.
So standard average would be 3 stars. I'd probably be willing to go. I'd definitely do 3.5. My base would be
Okay.
3.5.
Yeah.
It could nudge towards a 4 if I see it again. Like, the bus stands out to me so profoundly that at the moment I'd be
The
like
bus was good.
3.75 maybe. I don't
respect
really
that.
rank these. More Trevor than I was expecting is always a good thing.
Always
Trevor.
good to see Trevor. Always good to
Can't
be
go wrong
reminded.
with some Trevor.
Always good to be reminded of Iron Man 3, which is a good movie.
Iron Man 3 is
Iron Man 3 is a
fantastic.
good movie. Best
Iron
Christmas
Man,
movie of all time.
Iron Man 3 is one of the best Marvel movies.
Best Tony Stark. Okay. Best Pepper Potts. Okay, but that, you know what? That's a future episode. And I think with like
Yes.
we'll talk about it in a future.
Oh, okay,
episodes.
okay. I thought you were talking about like what if or something.
No.
Iron Man. I don't know how you stand on this, Paul, but
I saw
we're
Iron
both-
Man 3 when it came out in theaters, and
Me
I
too.
haven't seen it since.
Oh, we'll have to watch it.
We're both in the mindset that it is one of the best Marvel movies. I
It's
dare
top
say.
I remember
It's top
enjoying
10 art
it.
mode.
It's-
It was enjoyable.
It's fantastic.
So we'll have to watch it.
Okay, yeah.
And then do an episode on it, which is another segue, bringing us to our.
I was gonna say, do we want to
conclusion.
give some context to the show a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yes.
What our plan?
What is 808 and hot takes?
We
Well,
had a couple hot
we're
takes.
coming at you from apartment 808.
Yes.
You're starting to understand now.
Downtown Vancouver, but not giving you the address.
That's right. We will not give
It's,
you our address.
I'm not saying.
Yes.
Yep. But yeah. So we are just a couple of guys. No, that's weird. I'm not gonna say that. No, but seriously, big film guys in school for film, watching films.
We are.
On
Yes.
the daily.
Some movies.
Kind of on the daily.
Daily for you,
Motion
maybe.
pictures.
Daily
not
for me, maybe. But movie theaters on the weekly/bi-weekly.
Definitely on the monthly.
Definitely on the monthly, which means we'll be pumping out episodes on
Perhaps.
the weekly/monthly.
Yeah, I mean, we
Perhaps.
it won't necessarily be always when we go to the theater. It could be we watch something here and we
Yes.
want to
Could
talk
be we
about
watch
it,
something here, so
especially
it's,
if it's something we haven't seen before.
it's not always going to be new releases.
It doesn't have to be a movie specifically. We talk about movies in
And
general.
it won't be,
movies,
and it won't
topical
be
things.
every movie we watch.
Well, be
because
every
that would be a large
if it's
time
going to be
limit.
every movie we
Yeah,
watch,
we
you
did
guys
watch
will get
2 movies yesterday.
You get
Last
sick
night.
of us quick. I've watched 3 movies today. I mean, we're not gonna.
Jesus.
I've watched one, and that was Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
But no. So yeah. So this is what 808 and Hot Takes, our first episode, and
Yeah.
we went way longer than we
it's
thought.
supposed
We
to
thought
be,
we were going to be about half an hour.
Now,
That did
I think
happen.
a few things should be clarified,
Sure.
and a few things you can probably get from this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not really like it's more just us sitting down and talking.
Yeah.
Just
that's
having a
that's
conversation.
really
We're
this.
not bringing any news. We're not.
We're just letting
Talking
you
about
into
topical
things.
our post-movie conversations.
Yeah.
We will.
We're not scholars.
We would talk about
we're
like
not
this
critics.
without a microphone in front
Oh, yeah.
of us. We would have said the exact same
Actually,
thing.
I forgot there was a microphone halfway through.
And
we were
I
just-
think like we'll reference the microphone occasionally, but
Yeah.
that's not why we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah.
us recording our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're all, as you can tell, very passionate about movies. We're just talking a bit of nonsense, some hot takes, and as you said in the intro, the episodes will aim to be 30 minutes. We got a
30
little,
minutes or less.
we got a little offhand. I was looking at the timer here, and we were approaching like 15, and we still hadn't spoken about the movie
Yes.
because we were so focused on our pre-movie experience
Right.
in the theater. We kind of got
That's
a little
true.
off track on that. But yeah, it's episode 1. It can be a little bit
It's
longer.
episode 1.
Yeah,
This is raw, uncut, audio recordings
Yeah.
of our inner thoughts.
And
And
apologies
you just got
if you
exposed to
couldn't
it.
hear me and Evan sometimes. It's
Yeah.
because we have one microphone in the
We're-
middle of all of us.
We're working on the setup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully you understood what was going on and didn't have an issue with it.
But so
Yeah.
if you're still here, then
You're still here.
you're witnessing, the journey.
You're a real
History.
trooper.
This is history. This is history
Yeah.
history
The
right
three,
here. Do you
three of
understand
us
that?
sitting down in this
This is
room.
history.
Yeah, if we ever become famous, this is where we started.
This is where it began. So, anyways, with that, I guess we should get these people out of here.
Yeah,
I agree.
I
They've
came up
been-
with the name of this show.
They've been listening.
That's true.
They've
I mean,
been-
I kind of set you up.
You set me up
I-
and I delivered.
I loosened the jar and he took it off because 808s and Heartbreak and Kanye's album and everything. But yeah,
Maybe I'll try and keep us on topic in the future. Yes,
Yeah.
we should let these.
because Paul and I can just
Yeah,
We'll-
we can
we'll-
go off a little.
you got to be the
these-
mediator.
We'll
Yeah.
let these poor people get off. They've been listening
Yes.
to us speaking nonsense for far
If,
too long.
well, if they've been here for this long, then they must have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I
They must
really
have.
hope so.
And thank you very much
So, yeah.
for listening to us just chatting.
Yeah.
Really, just chatting.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. Thank you, and
We're rambling.
we'll do another episode, and if you want to stick around for that one, then feel free. But anyways,
it should be shorter.
It'll hopefully be shorter, and so yeah, you just listened to the first episode of 808 and Hot Takes. I'm Palmer Wells,
I'm Paul.
And I'm Evan Parrish.
and we'll see you down the road.
We will see you.
Bye for now.
Bye now.
Adios.